Hello there, my name is Mackenzie Swartz, and in this video, I will be talking about basic training in the National Guard. The National Guard is a distinct part of the U.S. military that serves both the community and the country. The men and women in the Guard are responsible for responding to domestic emergencies, overseas military operations, counter-drug missions, reconstruction efforts, and more. This branch of the military involves plenty of mental and physical strength, and this can be worked on through things such as basic training. Typically, when we hear the word basic training, we think of the physical hard work the soldiers are doing, and then we think of the yelling that is being done at them. Later on in the video, we are going to talk a bit more about why the officers always yell at these soldiers. December 13th, 1636. This was the upcoming, or as we call the birthday, of the National Guard. On this date, the first militia regiments in North America were organized in Massachusetts. Based upon an order of the Massachusetts Bay Colony's General Court, the colony's militia was organized into 3 permanent regiments to better defend the colony. Today, the descendants of the first regiments share the distinction of being the oldest units in the U.S. military. December 13th, 1636 marks the beginning of the organized militia, and the birth of the National Guard's oldest organized units is symbolic of the founding of all the state, territory, and District of Columbia militias that collectively make up today's National Guard. As we look at this chart on the screen, we can see some of the pushes for people to join the military. We have groups such as institutional, which would be our life skills, occupational, which would be someone's profession, and the other category for miscellaneous things. The number one motivation for people to serve would be to travel at a low cost and to get paid while doing it. Another reason why people join the National Guard is to get the benefits. This could be for covering college costs that people may have. Current soldier Justin Swartz will be going to Kuwait for his deployment in May of 2022. Let us listen as he talks about what he will be doing and why he will be doing it.
I am currently a sergeant in the Michigan Army National Guard. I am a team leader and my MOS is a 91 Lima. I'm in charge of several soldiers and I help those guys really hone in on their skills every weekend when we're training. It might be everything from working on a vehicle to your basic soldiering skills. So this coming year, early in the year, we're going to be deploying to Kuwait. From there, we're going to be dispersed throughout the Middle East, working in Jordan, Syria, Iraq, United Arab Emirates. We're not exactly sure what our tasking is going to be as of right now, but we'll get it when we get there and we'll complete it successfully.
Just recently, Justin Swartz has been deployed to a different state. Watch in the next clip as he talks about his experience and what he did.
So recently our unit was deployed to Washington, D.C. in response to the January 6th riots. We were deputized as federal marshals and were able to work hand in hand with the U.S. Capitol Police in securing the U.S. Capitol building and making sure that no further incidents happened. It was a pretty successful mission.
And of course, Justin himself had to go through basic training in his earlier years. In the next clip, he will talk about what he went through.
Basic training was a very stringent 10 to 12 week course where you learn a lot of basic soldiering skills. You do everything from a 40-hour combat lifesaver course where you learn how to help injured soldiers, to learning your weapon, and all the different weapon systems that the United States Army has to offer. You learn everything they have to offer when it comes to physical activity, lots of training with that, and many different basic soldiering skills. I learned a lot there. The combat lifesaver course, that was definitely a big one. They teach you a lot, from saving different limbs on soldiers to something basic like wrapping a wound. So Learned a lot about weapons, learned a lot about navigation, and many other things, but overall it was a great experience. The hardest part about basic training, I left when I was 28, 29 years old, so I had 2 children at the time. That was definitely the hardest part for me, was to leave the family behind. But second to that, I would say would probably not so much be the physical aspect or the mental aspect, but for me it was possibly dealing with the younger crowd. I'd have to say some of the younger kids probably didn't have as much common sense as I felt that I had. So sometimes it made working as a team difficult, to where they thought they knew everything and wouldn't look at something from a different aspect. Their way was the only way. So it was definitely a learning curve, but in the end we all made it and everything worked out.
Here is a photo of Justin and his team in Washington, D.C. During Phase 1, trainees are subject to total control, meaning that their every action is monitored and constantly corrected by demanding drill sergeants. The entire platoon may be punished for even minor infractions by a single trainee. Being able to foster a sense of common responsibility among the unit and to develop the type of attention to detail is required of all soldiers. This phase also includes physical readiness training, road marches, confidence building, and formation training. Trainees will also receive an introduction into chemical, radioactive, biological, and nuclear, which is CBRN readiness, which will include the proper usage of a breathing mask. Treadwell Tower is the biggest thing trainees have to overcome during basic training. They have to overcome their fear and work with others. Even though they are frightened about what they see, they start to get more comfortable as people do it. They see that it is safe, and they see that they can trust their drill sergeants and trust their battle buddies. It is a huge confidence boost when you accomplish this, and that's why it's done so early in the training. Treadwell Tower is used to test trainees both mentally and physically. This is technically to get rid of their fear of heights, and it is rewarding once they do. In the next clip, you will notice a young man trying to go down, but it seems as he is hesitating. Watch as he gains more confidence when he listens to his sergeants. During Phase 2, which is the white phase, trainees will begin learning the basics of rifle marksmanship maintenance and engaging targets at varying distances. During this phase, trainees also learn hand-in-hand training and how to prioritize multiple targets. In addition to marksmanship training, trainees also continue their physical fitness training and will be expected to navigate obstacle courses. White phase will also be trainees' first introduction to warrior tasks and battle drills. Rifle marksmanship qualification is the accumulation of many hours of rifle training. It is an exercise designed to test trainees' ability to apply learned principles and acquired skills by firing at targets from various distances. Depending on the number of targets scored as hits, trainees are labeled as marksmen, sharpshooter, or experts. So let's talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of joining the National Guard. Some of the disadvantages would be being away from home and not being able to see your family. There is no quitting in the National Guard, and you cannot say no to orders. The last one would be you have limited freedom. So if you like sleeping in every day, well, you will learn really fast that you can no longer do that. Here are some of the most common advantages. One that is not listed are bonuses, and they are quite frequent when enlisting. You can receive up to $15,000 to $20,000 just for signing up. One of the advantages would be free travel, and this is where the Guard will pay for you to pretty much go anywhere you get deployed. Another one would be benefits, and the benefits could be free college, competitive pay, and you receive health care. There are many jobs within the National Guard, such as being a mechanic, an engineer, or even being a dentist. This will give you a job experience, so when you retire from the military, you can go out and get a job when you're not in it. The National Guard was created to help maintain states and the country if needed. During natural disasters, protests, extreme acts of violence, and truly wherever the country really needed some extra guidance and structure help. There have been many examples from the past and more recent ones where the National Guard services were needed. Of course, in America, we always have debates on whether one thing is right and one thing is wrong. For the National Guard, we debate on whether it is needed at just state levels or the federal level as well. It all really depends on the person you are. If you are sensitive and do not like being yelled at, this probably is not the best route for you. On the other hand, there are great benefits offered to people who go through the pain that they will be put through. And yes, it is true that you have to shave your head. So if you have beautiful hair that you would not want touched, the military would probably not be a good recommendation for you. There are many uplifts and downfalls when joining the National Guard, but that is life itself. If you are going to make a commitment for your country to enlist, you can't bail out or quit. Buckle up because you will be there for a while. Here are some of my sources. From articles, videos, and books, I used a variety of them in my presentation. I tried to go to websites that were education or government-oriented, but I came across some commercial ones that were pretty good too. Most of my sources were found on the internet, and I have 2 books from JSTOR I researched in the Muskegon Community College Library. My favorite part about this project was interviewing Justin Swartz and learning more about what he does in the military for our country. We learned a lot from him, so just imagine what we could learn from others and their viewpoints as well. A lot of my pictures you've seen in the video were off of Google, and there are some pictures located in the articles I have read. If you have any further questions, my email is mackenzie.swartz@muskegoncc.edu. I hope you enjoyed my video, and thank you so much for watching.